All right, so last week we talked about the worst of the half year. Today, a little brighter segment, we're actually going to talk about the best of the half year. And next week, we're going to give our most anticipated for the rest of the year. And also, there's reviews that went up yesterday of Legend of Tarzan, the BFG, and Swiss Army Man, which is interesting. And the Purge election year. So check those out. And there's a Versus this Sunday, so check that out as well. That being said, just like we did with last week's video, we're going to give our honorable mentions and then our top 10. AJ goes first, I go second, and that's how we do it here. So, AJ, without any further ado, let's get started.
For the best, my honorable mention is The Conjuring 2.
Yes.
Which is James Wan's sequel to his horror masterpiece of The Conjuring. And while obviously it was never going to live up to that, it does a very good job of staying in the same vein and giving us some new scary figures like the Nun and the Crooked Man, and takes more of an Exorcist approach to the story.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So there's obvious borrowing, but it's also obviously his own style.
It's an homage more than anything else.
And as I was saying, it does very much, maybe almost to a fault, have a similar feel to the first movie. To where it's more of a duplication as opposed to necessarily building on it, but still, he manages to find some really, really effective ways to... Because we have no horror director like him.
No.
Working as of now. And he's still got that unique vision that's very much his own. That still brings us like some of the best horror movies that we have,
of course,
in the past decade. And yeah, all the scares are really effective. Sometimes you can't really tell if we're going in a humorous direction or a scary direction. You can never quite... You always know the scares are coming, but you're never quite sure when, and it always kind of keeps you on that constant edge, which he's really, really good at. And yeah, it's just another really well-constructed horror from a horror master.
Yes.
So now we're going to the 10. We're going to try to make this one more faster than the last one. Which shouldn't be too hard. My number 10 is The Witch. Which mostly works because of its atmosphere. It's got really good performances by a really great... Not exactly well-known cast.
Yeah,
the production values are fantastic. The way it's shot in particular, a very, very, I imagine, soon-to-be recognizable horror figure, I would think.
Yes. He already has t-shirts.
Yeah, I saw.
He has t-shirts that exist, of course.
And it's just a very, very eerie as fuck, effective, scary movie.
Oh yeah, completely.
You'll feel like not a lot is happening, but even if so, it's a movie that'll linger with you for sure.
It got a lot of walkouts, but that's because people weren't invested in it to stick around.
They may not have gotten what they bargained for either.
It's like Spring Breakers.
But it's very much A24 always.
Exactly. Of course, absolutely.
But it's definitely something, if you can stick with it all the way through, even if you don't like it while you're watching it, I feel like the way it stays in your mind and kind of festers into something else almost entirely really, really makes it worth the effort. And like I said, the performances are really, really great too. My number 9 is The Nice Guys.
Nice.
Which, once again, kind of feels like Shane Black kind of doing the same thing he did when he did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but... and it does feel a bit derivative of other movies and of the type of genre, but still, it's a very nice entry in that slapstick noir thing that's growing in popularity. Crowe and Gosling are fantastic together and hilarious. Yeah. The side cast is really good too, especially the girl playing Gosling's daughter. And it's just, and a lot of other characters really stick out too, like Keith David as the guy who doesn't even get a name, but he just sticks with you. Matt Bomer as the assassin. It all just really, really works. The story is not the most intriguing thing, but it does manage to sustain it for most of the movie. And the laughs are very, very consistent and go for anywhere from slapstick to funny dialogue to just the situations in general.
Right.
All that stuff. Sometimes it can be, out of nowhere, it'll be surprisingly violent. But never not funny, which is the most important thing it's going for. So it definitely accomplishes that.
Agreed.
And it's gotten quite a fan base. The more people that see it too, so
that's good to hear.
My number 8 is Eddie the Eagle, which is the extremely charming sports movie with Taron Egerton as the, what are they called again?
Ski jumper?
We'll go with that. And who is being basically trained by Hugh Jackman. It's a lot funnier than I thought it would be.
Oh my god, it's hilarious.
This movie is practically a full-on comedy.
Oh yeah.
With some really heartwarming and serious moments on it. It's a sport that you would not think would be that intriguing, but the movie actually makes you invested in.
Like Cool Runnings?
Yeah, and it's basically any other, like, just slap Disney's name on it, and it's any other inspirational sports movie. But, I don't know, there's just a real different feel about it. Matthew Vaughn was the producer on it, and Dexter Fletcher was the director. And they all kind of work in that same field. Because Dexter Fletcher is in a lot of Matthew Vaughn and Guy Ritchie movies, which is where they both came from initially. And it's just a really, really charming. That's the word that just keeps coming to mind. It's a charming ass movie.
I agree, 100%.
With a lot of big emotional moments, and one scene in particular towards the end just really hit me in the right place.
It makes you feel good about yourself. It really does.
Yeah. And he's really a guy that you just... apparently some people have been annoyed by him. I can kind of understand that, but he was definitely somebody I was rooting for.
Oh, for sure.
The whole time. Especially since he kind of knew. He always knows... He's very, very optimistic, but he's also not deluded. So when he reaches rock bottom, he kind of knows that he's there. But that only makes you more want to see him succeed. And that's where, in itself, the movie succeeds.
Keep progressing in the ski jumps from higher and higher and higher, and then you watch the guy fall, and it's like, that guy knew what he was doing. Great stuff.
My number 7 is Pop Star. Never Stopping.
It's so weird to say that, isn't it?
Which is, it's a movie that's success completely comes from the fact that it's so goddamn funny.
Oh, yeah.
It's really not a common occurrence to come across a movie that has a really, really funny moment in every single scene from beginning to end.
Oh, yeah.
Because even if it starts to kind of run out of gas towards the end, they still keep it alive.
Of course.
And I said a really great supporting cast, a bunch of hilarious cameos. The songs are really funny. It pretty much just does everything right that it needed to do. And never ever stops being funny throughout the whole thing. And probably single-handedly made me a fan of Andy Samberg, which I thought would never happen.
Same here. Completely agreed.
So that's definitely... It's not a lot of people were taken to it either, because it's definitely something that kind of felt a bit delayed.
Mm.
It seems like something there, if it was going to happen, it would have happened a while back. But I don't know, it just kind of seems like it's in the right place, especially with the music industry where it's at now, because it's one of those, it actually is kind of embracing and loving the music industry, but also like a really hardcore parody of it.
Mariah Carey's self-deprecation at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah. So yes, I still think about this movie and just laugh.
I still have the song stuck in my head to this day. I'm walking, cleaning theater, singing about Mona Lisa, and I gotta watch what I say.
It's really great when comedies like this can come out and do that. And I see a really bad ones.
Absolutely.
My number 6 is The Jungle Book, which is Jon Favreau's immensely fantastical, stunning, practically entirely computer-generated rendering of this story. And it's just from the voice work to the way everything's I'm getting my words. I'm running out of words to say. Yes, it's just a really, really fucking beautiful movie.
Yeah.
In appearance. It is basically the Lion King in its story. Like, it really kind of, I mean, the story is always very. I've never been much of a Jungle Book person. Like
Same here.
The live action one from '94.
The music, though.
And the animated one.
You like the music?
That's
the only thing most people cling to is, like, Bare Necessities.
There's really hard.
And it's got a cute sign this time around with Bill Murray doing it.
And what they've done to King Louie.
Oh, yeah.
Basically making him this big villain that's voiced by Christopher Walken.
With a cowbell reference, of course. I know you hate that stuff, but still, you have to mention it.
And it just feels like it's very interesting that pretty much all this movie is green screen, because the whole thing, because in that case you can kind of sense that usually, but this movie feels so massive in scale.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a really, really impressive feat this movie is. That voice cast is just perfect. I was concerned about Murray as Baloo. I thought that was weird. But he's really good.
Murray's good in this. Really
Kingsley
good.
as Bagheera is really good too.
Yes.
Do we even need to praise Idris Elba any more than I already do?
We do so much every week here.
Oh my god. So yes, I really, really liked it a lot. Much more than I probably thought that I would, especially given that I wasn't a big fan of the story in general. At least the variations we've gotten of it. But my god, does this one stand above them? Speaking of which, my number 5 is Finding Dory. A movie I wasn't quite sure about, but definitely kind of breaks this curse that Pixar's had about its extremely mediocre sequels. Well, definitely doesn't reach. It very much feels like it's clearly a sequel that is lesser than an original.
But
it's still definitely. Dora's definitely a character I don't like. I was saying that I do prefer her as a supporting character, but she's definitely one I don't mind following around for a whole movie. Because Ellen DeGeneres' voice work is just brilliance, along with Albert Brooks and Ed O'Neill and Ty Burrell. And
you figured out if that was him. Whole time, having tried to figure out who it was.
Can you keep it down in there? My head hurts. And I do like the way that some of it feels a little forced, but I do like the way that they were able to go beyond the sea, and they were able to go to see them in different locations.
Right.
And like I said, all the new characters. It's also nice that we didn't dwell on the returning characters.
Not even close.
They could have milked Crush to death shamelessly.
One scene, done. No more.
And this one a lot of it is the new characters, especially Ed O'Neill's octopus. What was his name?
Hank.
Yeah.
He was a great character too.
Yes, and Ty Burrell's whale, of course, is one of my new personal favorites. And of course the sea lions.
More Idris Elba.
Yes.
Or whatever for Idris Elba, as always.
It's really funny. It does have maybe it's a little overly cutesy sometimes, but for the most part, its emotions are in the right place too. It doesn't feel overly manipulative. Like
no, not at all.
Something like Inside Out or something.
Hey, now that's great.
Yeah, this is definitely a step in the right direction for what I prefer seeing from Pixar. This is, like I was saying, this is my favorite Pixar movie since Toy Story 3. So, that's kind of a big deal. And like I said, I like it even more the more I think about it, which is the exact opposite of what happened to Inside Out. Because when we did this list last year at this time of year, Inside Out was on it by default. And I was like, yeah, I guess. But no, I feel fine putting Finding Dory here. I feel good about it.
You feel good. That's good. Good to hear.
Okay. Well, fuck it. Number 4 is 999. I really, really like 999. I like it a lot. It's this really, really gritty, dark, violent as fuck cop movie. Like I said, it was basically... Imagine if Killing Them Softly was made by David Ayer. That's basically what we got here. And it's this cast. Holy shit. Let me see if I can even remember them all. There was Casey Affleck, Anthony Mackie, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Woody Harrelson, Kate Winslet, Aaron Paul, Norman Reedus, Teresa Palmer, Clifton Collins Jr.
Yeah.
One of the best characters in the movie. It's real, like I said, it's really violent. It's intense. It's suspenseful. you never know who's gonna go, and anybody can go at any time of that cast list.
Wow.
The cast list is alphabetical, so anybody can go at any time, and they do.
You only missed 2. That's impressive.
Yeah, because I'm awesome.
Michael Kenneth Williams and Woody Harrelson.
That's right. I said Woody Harrelson. I missed Michael Kenneth Williams, though.
I think you went too fast. I didn't hear you say that. And Gal Gadot, because they're trying to make her a thing.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. We'll talk about her in a minute.
I think she only had 2 scenes. I mean, she was crucial, but
she was very important.
But she had 2 scenes.
Yep. And then bye.
Yeah, it was just I kind of figured it'd be a movie I'd like.
Oh, I'm positive.
But this checked all my boxes. I like it a lot. I'm really waiting to see it again. It's out now, I think. I just haven't. I need to make it a point to go get it.
This movie would have been on my list if it wasn't for the fact that I was exceedingly tired that night and slept through most of it. But what I saw, I remember loving. Absolutely loving. That's the reason why it's not on my list, or it would be on there too. And Atticus Ross with the score too. Mm-hmm. That's another great thing about it.
So yes, that's everything about that movie is yes. My number 3 is Hello, My Name is Doris, which is the Sally Field's indie movie. Mm-hmm. The Please Give Me All the Spirit Awards movie.
I may go farther than that. You never know.
Like I was saying, it's very much Michael Showalter's the director, but it feels so much like a Duplass Brothers movie. Mm-hmm. Like I said, your love for it basically depends on how you feel about Doris as a character.
Okay.
Because you'll either fall in love with her, like the people who love the movie do, mm-hmm. or you'll think she's really, really weird. I fell right in the middle. She's really weird for sure, but in a charming way. You like her because of how weird she is.
Yeah.
And she does make questionable decisions, but she's just a human character.
Right.
And she knows when she's made the wrong decision, but she's just Doris. That's just who she is. And like I said, Max Greenfield is the guy that she has her eyes on in The Office. And that dude is so charming, I can't believe it. It's like, usually in movies you can't understand why a character gets so drawn to another character, and you're just like, I guess I'll just go with it, even though that character's so one-dimensional, and you're like, what's the big deal? The guy is he's such a good and nice guy. And like I said, just that Max Greenfield charm. You're just like, I totally get why Doris is really fixated on him. To a degree that might be a little unhealthy for her, but we kind of understand that where she's coming from in her own life too.
Right.
Is kind of where these decisions are coming from. But yes, I really like these characters and just the way the story plays out, and like I said, some of the choices she makes, you don't expect her to go that far, and she does, and then it gets to the point to where obviously conflict has to come into it, and the way these conflicts are dealt with by the characters is in such a no bullshit way.
Right. Like
there's no, romantic comedy, misunderstanding bullshit. It's just everything is right there on the table, and the characters deal with it the way
people would deal with it.
Yeah, that they probably should deal with it too.
Okay.
And I just really love that about this movie. So, but her performance really, really makes it. Her brother's played by Stephen Root, and they have some really good scenes together too.
Think this is a Globe movie?
If I were to say yes to any of this, I'm afraid it'd be wishful thinking, so I just won't.
We'll find out what we both think in August.
Yeah. Alright, my number 2 is Captain America Civil War, which I was able to see a second time since my review of it. And
that boosted your love for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you didn't get much of a vibe from the review, the second viewing helped a lot. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot better than I did the second time.
Right.
It feels it's the longest movie Marvel's made yet, and it feels really fast.
Oh yeah,
they bring in so many characters, all the ones we already know and love, plus a whole lot of new ones,
and it never feels forced.
And there's always a balance, and they know exactly how to introduce the characters too. Like we don't always get origin stories and stuff like that. And I'm hoping this movie kind of prevents some origin stories. That'd be nice.
It might.
They all end up balancing into one story, because you kind of keep thinking they're all coming from one place or another. but somehow they make them all tie into the plot. If there's one person that feels a little shoehorned, I hate me all you want, fans. It's Peter, honestly. I know everybody came out of this movie saying Spider-Man's the MVP. I disagree, but actually, I think he might be one of the weaker aspects of the movie. But still, the movie is very, very strong. And the way the Daniel Bruhl plot makes everything tie in. Like I said, it basically takes an Avengers movie and a Captain America movie. You have the Avengers movie with the whole Civil War aspect of it. And then you have Daniel Bruhl doing a Captain America movie, basically. And how they took these two plots and they're all one thing all together. And they all tie together in this perfect bow. And that was really skillfully put together. Like I said, the Russo brothers are directors, and the writers are the guys that have been doing. They did the Winter Soldier, and they were like Pain and Gain and stuff like that. Those writers are really, really. I don't think they get commended as much as they do. Most people point to the Russo brothers and say those guys are geniuses, but these writers play a huge part in how this movie really ties together all these different things.
It's Marcus and McFeely.
And it's really, really well done and really clever, too. And Black Panther is so badass.
Oh my god, I know.
And that Brian Coogler's directing his movie. And Chadwick Boseman's an awesome actor, too. Like I said, he's
breaking out now.
He so should have been Oscar nominated for Get On Up. That's a crime.
No lie.
I mean, I understand within the year how it didn't happen because of the release date and what came out of it.
Of course.
But I mean, from a perspective of quality, that should have been a given.
Absolutely.
So yes, and the dynamic between Steve and Tony is good. Downey gets to do a lot of stuff here. Yes. Am I missing? I feel like there's something I want to say, and I'm just blanking on it. But yes, it definitely holds up after a second time, but potentially a third time too. I guess we'll find out. So yes. And lastly,
this is an obvious one too.
Why? Because of the star amounts?
No, just because I know.
For me, the best movie of the year so far is 10 Cloverfield Lane. A movie that was made in total and complete secrecy. But potentially as something else entirely.
It's even more impressive that it's done so well.
And the fact that they took this massive monster movie and said, we're going to make another one and make it a chamber piece inside an enclosed space with 3 people, mostly. And how it's, I know it's a cheesy thing to say and a very predictable thing to say from a critical standpoint, but I'm being quite sincere when I say this. It's kind of insane that a 3-person chamber piece is probably more intense emotionally than the big ass monster movie we had before.
Oh, agreed, 100%.
And John Goodman is just unbelievably incredible in this part. You don't know if he's good, you don't know if he's bad, you don't know if he's going to take care of you or if he's going to kill you. You don't know if you're in the safest place to be or the most dangerous place to be. All of these questions are in the air. Yeah, it's a little bit spoilery just having Cloverfield in the title.
Right.
But even so, and a lot of people say it was good until the climax. I don't know. I still think the climax is really good.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's still plenty. Yeah, if you're not expecting it, it kind of seems like it goes off the deep end. But I would say putting Cloverfield in the title kind of makes you aware of what you're dealing with. And kind of makes it the only logical ending. Because why else is it in this universe?
Right.
Obviously. And then that cliffhanger ending. But not so much a cliffhanger ending, but it tells us where we can go and where we could potentially... We're either going to potentially go, or we may go off on something else entirely like we did this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really, really great... kind of heart-stopping movie, while doing so little. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Gallagher Jr. are the other people who also are fantastic. Yes, and has one of the more memorable holy shit scenes.
My God.
Yes. I watched this movie with my family last week, and I'm pretty sure my mom almost had a heart attack.
I buy it.
Like the whole movie's intense, but that one scene is just kind of that one scene you kind of wait for everybody. You wait for the reaction, and it always pays off.
Especially staying in the back of the theater watching people watching it.
It's a very rewarding movie too, because it can be seen. I feel like it's intense throughout, but it can also be seen as kind of a building kind of thing. Yeah, I just like everything about it, and just all the whole mystery around it. Even if, like I said, the title kind of gives a little bit away, but there's still enough mystery around it to where it's always intriguing, even to somebody that knows what's happening.
Right.
So yes, and Dan Trachtenberg, I would love to see what else he puts out in his career. So, and not to mention Damien Chazelle is one of the writers on it.
He basically cleaned up the script, from what people are saying.
All right, your turn.
Yeah. Let's see if I can figure out anything from that. He's not anything else. So, we did this last year
It's like
on...
we're gradually sinking.
It is, we're sinking. July 6th is when we did this last year. It's closer to that this year. My honorable mention is The Conjuring 2. I so badly wanted this to be a house at Horror Nights this year. I really did. It's not as great as The Conjuring, like AJ said, but there's a lot of great things you can take from it. I like the aspect of the movie. It's weird. Patrick Wilson doing the Elvis thing, I thought that worked. Even though it was small, but it was cool. I liked it. His chemistry with Vera Farmiga is like getting better and better every single movie.
I totally skipped over that when I reviewed the movie, but yeah, like a huge aspect of the movie is their marriage and how well they kind of bounce off each other and how how strong their relationship is.
Right.
And that's a really big asset.
It just really works for me in every way possible. And I mean, I can't wait till I'm able to actually experience it right before my eyes. And I'm not just watching a movie, I'm actually walking through it at Horror Nights. But I mean, just watching the film, like some of the new characters, like the Nun, which now has a spin-off movie which is coming out, and the Crooked Man, which I think is a better character for a spin-off movie if they wanted to do one.
I like the mystery around him.
Yeah, it's great.
I wouldn't want elaboration on him.
Well, I mean, he kind of looks like, again, I've said this before, he kind of looks like something from Resident Evil or something that's in Miss Peregrine, because the same character's there with like the liquor tongue and everything. So I mean, it's just creepy looking thing. But I mean, the movie worked for me. It's very atmospheric, very well done. I like the time frame of it. Obviously, the soundtrack fits it. James Wan getting better and better every single time. It doesn't matter what he's doing. It gets better. It really does. I mean, whether he's doing action or he's doing horror, it's good. It's going to be something that's worth watching.
Obviously, he's not getting better because we said The Conjuring won't be topped, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's growing as a director is what it is. He's growing into the medium as a horror director. I mean, he is going to be one of the greats before it's all said and done, if he isn't already, as it is.
He and Ty West are kind of right.
I thought you were going to mention Ty West before, but you didn't mention him by name. It's like, if there anybody that even comes close to James Wan right now, Ty West is the other person that comes to mind. And even the family in the movie, it's just like everybody plays their part correctly. It's just really well done. Great horror movie. Like I said, not as great as the original, but it still stands on its own. My number 10 actually is going to be The Nice Guys. I was really excited for this movie when I first heard about it. I love the film noir look to it. I love the fact it basically takes place in a world of pretty much like The Big Lebowski or Inherent Vice, which is the other two. The thing is, and I'm not a Russell Crowe fan.
Have you seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Many years ago. Once. And I don't remember what I thought of it, honestly. It's been so long, I don't remember what I thought of it. But I mean, I just love this movie. That's really funny. It's constantly funny. The trailer is what hooked me originally, because you hear the trailers, you don't see them, but you hear the trailers, and you probably noticed every single time you heard that trailer, you got a laugh. And it's just like, that trailer was funny, and the movie was consistently funny, and I enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm not a big Russell Crowe fan. I never have been. I guess it's probably butthurt about A Beautiful Mind still to this day. But the thing is, it's just one of those things that I really enjoyed, and it was really funny and really well done. My number 9 is Finding Dory. I wish it could be a lot higher on this list. First off, you didn't talk about it even in the review, the Piper short that's on before, which will probably end up jobbing to whatever short that beats it at the Oscars this year.
A lot of people like it. I don't.
I think it's cute. That's about all you can say.
I think that's my problem with it.
I know. And when you talk about cute, you can't mention cute without 2 words, Baby Dory. And seriously, it's just like, that's like one of the most adorable characters that I've seen in an animated movie in years. And it reminds me, the best comparison I can come up with is the late, great Joe Lasky. Plucky duck, baby Plucky, water go down the hole.
I noticed.
And that's what that reminds me of.
Out of curiosity, after we saw it, I went back and watched the trailers. I noticed they didn't show her like that in the trailers. We heard her and they didn't show her.
Well, there's a reason why. They wanted to like make us wait for it and everything. What's Dory look like and everything. It's just really well done. It looks beautiful. Just like the first one. It fits the same aesthetic as the first one when it comes to look. And I love the movie. I love the supporting cast. Ed O'Neill's great in it. But Ed O'Neill's great in everything. Like you said, there's a Modern Family reunion there. I mean, I thought that was cool. Diane Keaton and Eugene Levy as Dory's parents worked for me, even though they weren't really used very much because he really couldn't, because that's the gimmick, trying to get her to them.
She had a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, she did. But I mean, and that made the Baby Dory character work even more because the flashbacks made you like, aww. And the funny thing is like you could hear that noticeably when we were watching it in the theater. Everybody was saying that every single time you saw the character. I mean, they changed the ending a bit. I mean, when Blackfish came out, apparently there was a little bit of, like, way too, like, realistic touches to it, and they have what we have now. I love the PS at the end, the after-credit sequence with all the original characters. Thought that was awesome. And the bad thing about that is they blow it if you read the actual credits themselves. If they weren't listed in the credits, that would be great, because then you would know it was coming. But they did, so that's one of those things that I guess you have to take from it. Just really well done. Ellen DeGeneres, just wonderful as always. Albert Brooks does a great job. This is just a cast that I have no problem making more movies, honestly. I enjoyed it. And like the whale sonar, that just like directing traffic and everything, and it's just like, oh my god, it was so funny.
It was, but then it got to a point where it's like, I love Ty Burrell so much, and this character's hilarious, but if he makes that sound one more time, I think my head will explode.
I thought his head was going to explode every time he grabbed it, to be honest. But yeah, it's like they're driving a truck, and it's just so random. It's just like, oh my god, it's so well done. Very funny movie. And one of Disney's best, to say the least. Pixar knocked it out of the park once again. I really was high anticipating this year for this movie to come out, and it delivered for me. I probably didn't deliver as much for you as it did for me. My number 8 is Hail Caesar. I like this movie a lot. The Coen brothers tackling old Hollywood. I think it was a perfect fit. Everybody in this movie is really funny. There's a lot of really great things to it. The Tilda Swinton character, like just like popping in and out of here. Ray Fiennes is awesome in it. Alden Ehrenreich is just really funny in this movie. His role, I enjoyed that very much. I mean, Clooney is glorious here. Josh Brolin plays a great, like, 50s style, like, gumshoe. I really like that. That worked really well.
He was a real dude.
I know. It made it even better. It's such a well-done movie, and it's a great companion piece to Trumbo, because these are a lot of the same characters that were in Trumbo, too.
Yeah, because, Tilda Swinton's basically doing Head Over.
Oh, absolutely. without any
just
question.
Happens to be 2 of her.
It's just a well-done movie, and just like with Trumbo, I really loved it for its authenticity. And going back and reading the story about Eddie Mannix, it's just, he nailed it. He nailed it completely. And the movie nails it. I wish it would have done better. It didn't do good on the box office, didn't do good critically, but, I mean, and it's dead for award season, so that's not going to happen. But, I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was good Coen Brothers fun.
It's not anywhere close to one of my favorites of theirs, but maybe if I...
You need to watch it again, maybe?
I don't know if another viewing would do or what, but...
We shall see. My number 7 is Captain America Civil War. I like this movie a lot. I like the battle sequences of this movie a lot. Black Panther was amazing. When the second he came up, that fight with Bucky, oh my god. Oh my god, Sebastian Stan, your character is awesome. And I love how it's actually starting to work really well for him. Given the fact what Bucky actually did in the comic books, I like how they're kind of straying away from that a little bit, making him more of like a badass than like the mild-mannered Bucky Barnes like they did in the comic books. Because in essence, from what I've seen, which isn't that much, I've seen basically Bucky as like a poor man's Robin. that's what he was, but now there's so much more to him. Now he's the Winter Soldier, and now he's like the BMOC. So, I mean, the biggest thing for me, which you bashed on, was Tom Holland here. I wish they would have given him more stuff to do.
Bash on him. I just thought he was the weak link.
I
Because everybody else is so strong.
Tom Holland is not Andrew Harland. Yeah, there you go. Tom Holland is not Andrew Garfield, and he never will be. But the thing is, he takes from Andrew Garfield's
Are you
performance.
telling me that I'm just bitter?
No, we're both just bitter, honestly, because we're one of the only people that will actually defend the Amazing Spider-Man and its sequel, and we'll do that.
I don't care for the
There's
first
videos.
one. It's strictly the.
It's the second one for some reason. But the thing is, it's just, I love the character. I love the way that Spider-Man comes off in this movie. I cannot wait for the new movies. I'm very curious to see where they go now. Black Widow still really doesn't have much to do. Poor Hawkeye will never get a backstory movie ever. I don't think Clint's getting anything at this rate. I like how you the Twitter thing. I love the social media for this. You had to choose a side, and then after you choose a side, they sent you a video saying, "Welcome to the team." I thought that was kind of cool. A good way to interject
Whose side
social
are you
media.
on?
I don't remember what side I went on, honestly. I think I said Team Spider-Man. Because that was before I saw the movie, so... I don't know what side I'm on, honestly, because there's reasons to go for both sides at this point. Like, I'd like to be on Tony's side, but also I understand why I would be on Cap's side.
I am on Tony's side, in case you were wondering.
Really? I mean, I see reasons to be on both sides, honestly, so... But, yeah, it's like, Black Panther is so awesome. Just, dear God, Chadwick Boseman, where have you been all these years? I'm glad that you're now an actor and now performing regularly on film, because you are amazing. And it's just... This is done really well. I really enjoyed it, and continue these Marvel movies, at least the Avengers movies, continue them. Like, the other movies, we'll see how they do, but I mean, Doctor Strange looks awesome, but I mean, still, like, continue these Marvel
There's
movies.
a lot of pissy film snobs that won't agree with that.
No, I understand that there's overload of superhero movies, and I get that, and that makes sense, but...
Stop making those movies I'll never watch.
Okay. There's about 100 people right behind you in line that just going to pass you right by as you watch something else, so there you go, don't worry about it. This is really good, really well done movie. Like you said, it's the perfect amalgamation of a Captain America movie and an Avengers movie, and it just works.
I just want to say that I thought that movie was utter garbage. Then why did you watch it? Just so I could tell you that.
Just so I could actually say I saw it, that it was utter garbage. Speaking of something that should have been utter garbage, but truly was not, one of the best of the year so far, my number 6 is Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping. Ever since I saw the movie, I swear to you, like, the music's been stuck in my head. I mean, seriously, it takes Justin Bieber, Never Say Never, the documentary movie that was made, and mixes it with basically Spinal Tap. That's pretty much the combination you have here. It's like, if Spinal Tap was a rockumentary, that was a mockumentary, that would work. That's exactly what this movie is. And I never got into the Lonely Island. I never really cared for them. The I'm on a boat stuff. I never cared about that at all.
Would you believe the guy that made that Justin Bieber documentary made another movie this year?
What did he do?
Now you see me too.
Oh, you... wrong. The cameos are great. It's just a lot of great stuff. The seal thing is priceless. And like I said, the Mariah Carey thing was great too. Sarah Silverman's great, and as always... Tim Robbins is really good. Tim Meadows, long day. Tim Meadows is really great in this movie, too. It's nice to see him, and honestly, I saw him in the trailer, I was like, this is great. And
I see him in something that's not a grown-ups movie.
yeah, no lie. It's just, everybody works in this movie. There's so many great things about it. The spot-on TMZ impersonation is just unbelievable. And just drinking the water, drinking the multiple waters, just duct taped together. So great. I mean, that's probably the first time you laughed at Nick Kroll in a long time, isn't it?
Will Arnett.
Well, that's the Will Arnett connection, but he's also there too, so I mean...
Was there?
Yeah!
I don't even remember that.
Yes! Good God, you don't remember?
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of really great things here.
I
Like
remember Birbiglia there. I don't remember him.
Ringo Starr, just like being there. It's just great. Like him responding to certain things. Timberlake's, of course, cameo is there. It's just so much. Joan Cusack as the mom. I thought that was worked really
Timberlake's
well.
almost more than a cameo.
He's a big part of the movie, but not until like midpoint. I liked it because the reaction of everybody in the theater when he came up, it's like, oh, of course he's there. It just really well done. Weird Al showing up at the end, you not knowing who he was, I thought that was really funny. But yeah, it's just so much better than it has any right being. Style Boys for Life sounds good. And I know you'll give me crap for this, but it really reminded me of like this version like CB4 because that's pretty much the story they told. I don't have a problem with that because I like that movie. My number 5. Sorry guys, I'm gonna stick with it. My number 5 is Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Just because of Ben Affleck. Told you guys years ago on this channel, while Will was sitting in the chair that's right to our left, or the right, depending on which way I'm pointing at this point, my left right now, possibly your right, that Ben Affleck would be an amazing Batman. And everybody was a naysayer about it. It's like, no, it's never going to happen. It's not going to work. And then they got it announced. I was like, I told you it would happen. And then they were like, no, he's going to be terrible. And he's terrible Batman. He's terrible Daredevil's going to be terrible Batman. And they watched the movie. And they hated the movie. But they liked Affleck. And that's all that mattered. We whetted our appetite for more Ben Affleck as Batman. It just works in every way possible. And Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, just great. Just great. Over the top in every way possible. It's got the Edward Nygma vibe going on it. I understand that, but I just loved it. I thought it was really well done. The cameo, the pretty much cameo of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman just worked for me too. That whole battle sequence.
That is in no way a cameo.
I would say that's a cameo.
That is a full part.
That
She's in the whole movie.
I guess it was just one of the points that you just kind of get so enthralled with the movie, you kind of forget, like, you only remember certain...
No, that's just her lack of presence.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Henry Cavill he's okay. I've never liked Superman, though. I mean, the Superman movies, some of them, Brandon Routh was great. I enjoyed him. Christopher Reeve will never be topped. It's just... I don't care about Superman. If they were taking him out of the whole movie, I would have loved this movie. It'd probably been a lot higher than this. But...
Batman versus...
That's it. I don't care.
It's Batman versus.
I don't care. Batman versus. We already did that, actually. That video exists. Batman versus does exist. But yeah, it's just... I cannot wait to see what Chris Terrio and Ben Affleck do with Batman when the first solo movie comes out.
Especially since they're supposedly doing something that's, like, not based on anything.
Yeah, they're totally taking a different story. That's what makes me even more happy for it. But yeah, this is the Dark Knight that we... I've wanted to see in the comic books for a long time. Like the Dark Knight Returns shot with the lightning bolt and everything that's in the movie. It's perfect. I just loved every second of it. Really well done. I don't care what anybody says. I like this movie. It was fun. My number 4 is another movie that I wasn't sure I was going to like, but when it comes to inspirational sports movies, I seem to enjoy them. My number 4 is Eddie the Eagle. I like this movie a lot. Inspiration. Like, I literally felt like inspired. Like, I wanted to get up on a mountain and go skiing after this movie was over. I didn't, but I wanted to because I had that much, like, fire in me. It's like, I wanted to have fun. And this movie was fun. And it was enjoyable. It was full of a lot of enjoyable characters. And realistic characters. Obviously, they're real people. And I liked what they did with Eddie and his rival at the end. How he basically, like, looked up to him. More like Marty.
When they're going up the elevator.
Yeah, they're going up the elevator to the top. And it's like... I look up to you more than anything. He's like, I'm just like, I understand all the things I want. I'm just a regular guy. And I like that because it showed a lot more like realism to the movie. I love the stuff with Jackman. The Jackman stuff was priceless. Him teaching him how to do things in the first place. Really well done. The soundtrack just made me inspired. It's like I felt like I need to go run a marathon. I wasn't going to do that, but still, it felt like something from the 80s, and it looked like something from the 80s, and that's exactly what it should have. It worked in every way possible, and the only thing missing was the Walt Disney Pictures logo, to be totally honest. And the Chris Walken cameo at the end was kind of cool, too. Yeah. And that is a cameo, for sure.
Broadbent, too.
Yeah, Jim Broadbent's amazing. Commentator Jim Broadbent, even better. Always going to be a fan of his for good reason. My number 3 is The Jungle Book. Jon Favreau plus Disney equals money. That the Magic Kingdom movie makes me even more excited for it now, honestly. I don't know when it's ever going to happen, but... I'm
assuming since he just said, yeah, if Marvel asked me, I'd probably come back to the series. And the fact that Downey did officially announce Iron Man 4.
He will. I'm almost positive he will. Favreau was even at the grand opening of the Jungle Book show that's basically taking over at Animal Kingdom because they can't get Rivers of Light working. So he was there. It's like, what'd you think of the show? And he's like, yes, it was fine. It was everything. You can tell he obviously didn't mean it, but still, it's just because the show was god-awful. But the thing is, it just works in every way possible. Like, the voice cast was amazing, and everything just worked great. I love Bill Murray in this movie. I really do. And that kid's going to go places, honestly. The kid that plays Mowgli is going to go places. And he's going to be like... what Dev Patel probably should have been his career wouldn't have met Dragon Ball and it kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Oh my god, his name just slipped my mind. The guy that played Pi in Life of Pi.
Mm-hmm.
It was in, what was it, $1 Million Arm?
$1 Million Arm. Yep. All right. It's just a beautiful movie too. Like Disney has this way of making movies look absolutely like beautiful and make it look real when it obviously isn't. So I like that. I loved everything about it. I love how they took the music and they put it in differently. The Trust in Me was the end credit song instead of in the movie. I thought that word because it gave me no cough, which makes me happy.
Suraj Sharma, I think is Pi's name.
Yeah, that's it.
Got it.
We talked about that before, actually. Good job, man.
Yes.
I'm not surprised you knew that. Yes, such a well done movie. Just very well done. I'm just running out of words now. My number 2 is The Witch. You want slow burn atmospheric horror that's going to really make a lot of people happy? You need to watch this movie. And happy not by obviously what's going on, but you want to see an atmospheric horror movie in a theater, a mainstream theater, it's The Witch. It is, without a doubt. This movie, really well done. Like we talked about Black Phillip earlier, he does have his own t-shirts, and he probably has a cult following now, literally and figuratively. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, seriously, it really does. But, like I said before, like we talked about the A24 thing with Spring Breakers, how everybody was like, party, party, party at the beginning, and then people were like, I'm out of here, I'm done with this. And then we got to the meat of the movie at the end, and we found out what it was really about. It's the same situation here. You're like building and building and building and slow burn. Everybody's like, what's going on here? And the next thing you know, you see people leave one by one, just walking out of the theater. And I watched people do this. I'd stay in the back of the theater. I was like, how long does it take people to leave? So I'd periodically check, and I was like, there's one extra person, and that person's gone, and that person's gone, and that person, okay, he's gone too. So by the time the movie was over, it was like next to nobody there, because nobody stuck it out. But if you stuck out this movie, it was worth every minute. Very well done. Just brilliant horror. Speaking of brilliant horror, my number 1 of the movie year, good lord, my number 1 of the half year is probably going to be a movie that's going to stick with me for a long time, and that is 10 Cloverfield Lane. I can't say enough great things about this movie. I really can't. And in a perfect world, John Goodman would be running for Best Supporting Actor. And he's my, spoiler alert for August, he's my dark horse for Best Supporting Actor right now. I want this to happen more than anything.
Good luck.
I know. I mean, we'll see if I can make him a surprise, but who knows. The thing is, it's a well done movie. You take something as iconic as Cloverfield, you take a movie that no one knew what was happening, and then the trailer popped up. I was like, wait a minute, did I just see a Cloverfield trailer? What's that? And then the internet explodes.
On 13 hours.
Yeah, I know. It was so crazy. It's just like everybody was like, what is this? And then it turns out to be the best movie of the year. At least at this point. And I have a feeling it's probably going to stick around, at least in this list somewhere. It's just a well-done movie. Really good terror in this movie. There's a really big chunk of the movie where you don't know what's going to happen. Where I love how they make the suit out of nothing. I thought that was well done.
The shower curtain.
Oh my god, it was incredible. John Goodman here, like the trailer stuff, with him dancing with the jukebox and everything, and you see like the fun-loving side of John Goodman's character, but then you look at him and then you find out, what is this guy really doing? Like, what is Howard truly up to? Like, what did he kill the girl? Do we know anything?
He goes from Dan Connor, then devolves into Walter Sobchak, then devolves into when he was possessed at the end of Fallen.
That is a very good comparison, 100%. And it is head and shoulders above everything else right now as the best movie of the year. Will it change? We will find out, but I think that's going to be the end of this video. I got to give a shout out to Mary Elizabeth Winstead here, too. I mean, she doesn't get enough praise for her role either. She's really good in this. And just a 3-person piece is just a hard thing to do anyway, and they pull it off perfectly. Flawless movie. Very well done. That's going to be the end. Next week, AJ Week continues. With AJ Weekend continues for the 3rd week in a row, and the final week in a row will be our most anticipated for the remainder of the year. Find out what AJ, after not watching any trailers, is anticipating for the rest of the year, and what I, after watching all the trailers, am anticipating for the rest of the year. So that being said, check out the rest of the Popcast Network segments this week. AJ's movie reviews went up yesterday, and Versus goes up tomorrow. And of course, the wrestling content, we have it in abundance right now. Halloween Horror Nights news most likely came out by this time, and if it did, then I will gladly tell you that as I'm filming this on June 24th. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. AJ, any parting words?
No.
And that's all we got to say about that.